during that period, almost unnoticed, was the fall of the value of the dollar on the USDX. It has fallen from 86.12 to 80.58. I don't know where it's at today, but I don't think it broke 81. There is a very good example of the Fed Reserve and the Treasury Department feeding inside information to the friends on Wall Street. Folks, you and I go to jail for this kind of insider trading. And look what happened to Martha Stewart on just one little stock deal. Now, this has gone on, folks, for the last 60 years or maybe even longer. It puts many professionals and the public at a vast disadvantage. That's you and me. If you then include the market intervention with cross-manipulation of the President's Group on Financial Markets, Plunge Protection Team, you have a totally stacked deck. Needless to say, the SEC and the CFTC, they're invisible. They're no place to be found. More about this when we get back, along with your phone calls at 800-313-9443. Let's put the brain trust to the test today by your questions or comments. 800-313-9443. Got some technical problems. One of our affiliates, he downloads the satellite signal and he feeds 50 other locations, and he just keeps having a problem. And our satellite is stable. A lot of people out there not getting us. Shame, shame. Bob, I was reading your first couple of paragraphs here. Man, when you put this stuff in its proper context, if your hair ain't white, it goes white. You say that we are back where we were 19 months ago, before the stimulus package and the Fed's injection of capital of some $2.3 to $2.5 trillion. The projection now is that $2.5 trillion each year to be injected annually for the next 2 years. There has been no move toward capital to assist small and medium-sized businesses into expanding or hiring. And I don't know where a Fed injection of money to people that have no customers is going to help. Maybe you can explain that for me. But you say over the last 15 months, loans to these companies have been cut by more than 25%. The antithesis of a real recovery. Government's answer to that was to extend unemployment benefits by another $34 billion. Banks are still carrying 2 sets of books with the blessing of the administration. The Bank for International Settlements and the International Accounting Group, the FASD. Most of these financial entities are still broke. That in part borne out by the fact that half of the TARP funds haven't been returned. TARP was the Fed subsidy mostly to the financial sector that allowed them to make money with cheap money and leverage. And you go on to say the result of which was an increase in sales of 15% recently. And, well, that's not a whole hell of a lot. But the existence of these 2 sets of books has allowed American and European corporations to avoid writing off losses and declaring bankruptcy. At the same time, American firms borrowed $289 billion in the first quarter, taking their total domestic debt to $7.2 trillion. And you said there's about $1.5 trillion sitting in Cayman Islands, but if it's brought back home and a 35% tax has to be paid on it, well, that's about $600 billion in taxes. So nobody's going to move here. Doesn't look like.
Well, I think, that's a pretty good capsulization, and I want to tell you listeners that all of that was exposed in this program a month ago. We've talked about it each week. That's just a summation, the culmination of what's been going on. And the piece de resistance we saw today as the FOMC, the Fed, said that they were going to continue to do what they were doing and may do more. And with that, the market, which was off 150, came roaring back and ended the day off 54. Actually, get down almost to even. But there's profit-taking going on for the people who knew on the inside what was going on a month ago, and they're taking profits in here. Not like madmen, but they're taking profits, and that'll go on for the next couple of weeks. So the market will tend to go lower, probably back to 10,000 or so over the next couple of weeks. At the same time, we saw gold off $8. When the announcement came, it was off around $6, and it ended the day up on the October market. And that's interesting and very good. It was up 350 at 1204.90, and silver was up 1834, up 11 cents, whereas earlier on, silver had been lower on the spot market on its close. And so, by and large, a good day, but it bears out what I said on this program for the last month. You people got it first, that there would be a recommencing of reliquefaction, and they'll spend about $5 trillion. They're not going to tell you that. They just slip it in here and there, you know, the $100 billion there, $250 billion there, and that's what they're going to do. And I don't think that they will pull the plug on the economy until they get their war going. It's a new war. And we may have 4 or 5 of them at the same time. We may have North Korea. We may have Venezuela. We may have Iran, Syria, Lebanon. Fidel Castro, who is no dumb bunny, says there's going to be a nuclear war. And he's got a great information service called the DGI, which is the equivalent of the FSB, or the old KGB, and the CIA, and they know what's going on. And so, and the Rockefellers visit there all the time. They're pals with Fidel. And so, incidentally, Fidel is a subscriber as well.
Bob,
and so he's really filled in.
Bob, you mentioned Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. We're more socialistic in this country now than he is in his.
Not quite, but
we're getting there.
We're running close. But, you get the same thing going on in Ecuador and Bolivia and now Uruguay, of all places. Lovely little country, with everybody freezing their behinds off this winter. It's cold down there.
All right, we got to take the break. We'll be back with your calls, 800-313-9443. Only one in queue. We got some room. We'll take them as fast as we get them. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Let's go to Henry in Connecticut. Hello, Henry.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, I'm here now. A couple of things from Mr. Chapman. What I want to know is this. Also, I'm going to inform you about something.
Okay, Henry, do me a favor, because you have a tendency to frame your question inside of a statement, and I never know where the question begins and the statement ends. So, if for clarity's sake, please ask the question, and then you can make your comment.
Okay. All right, the question has to do with immigration.
Okay.
There's a couple of questions. One is Europe, but the first one is immigration. In Arizona and also overall around this country, the illegal immigration, because there's a guy even in Jersey, he talks about Edison, New Jersey.
Okay, question there, Henry.
Yeah. What are we going to do? Yeah. What is it that we can do as far as what congressmen, what people we can, anything we could do on a grand scale as far as this illegal immigration and getting it to stop and change?
Okay, hold that thought right there, Bob.
And what do you know about Arizona? Okay.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Well, first of all, the Alexa for this through the system is to throw as many sitting incumbents in the House and Senate out of office in November. If we can accomplish that, maybe we can force the federal government to enforce the law.
Right.
Secondly, as far as Arizona is concerned, the federal government is the laughing stock of the country. 95% of the people in the country agree with Arizona, and I believe that the federal government has no right bringing legal action against them for something that they've done in their state law, which is legal.
Right. Right. And the other thing is I was told by a friend in Arizona, that they're passing a bill or there has a bill out there that they're trying to get to the floor that deals with the babies. That if you were born from one illegal parent, you will not get a birth certificate certifying that you're born in the state of Arizona. Now, I don't know if a lot of people also know this, but regardless whether she's a globalist, Bilderberger, or Illuminati or what, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she might even be a communist, I don't know. And I'm not saying everybody's a communist, but there's some of them I know that are, Charles Barron, a couple of them. She made a ruling, too, that I think you could check this out because the person who knew what they were talking about told me this. She made a ruling that in order for you to be a natural born citizen, you have to have one person who is a parent who is legal, or at least a natural-born citizen, the other person a legal immigrant. Or that, put it this way, if you have, in a nutshell, if one of your parents is illegal, or both of them illegal, or one, you're not a citizen, according to her interpretation of ruling. Now, if that is true, then that means the ones we have here for 10, 15, 25 years or more in California, if they're out there voting, and they have babies, they're not citizens and not even entitled to vote.